Taoiseach, I want to raise with you a very alarming and a very distressing case. It's the case of a woman from the west of Ireland left to wait 6 weeks to start her chemotherapy. At the end of November last, this mother of 2 young children received the devastating news that she had breast cancer, the same cancer that her own mother had died of in her 40s. To get a diagnosis of cancer is traumatic enough, but to be told that you have the same cancer that took the life of your own mother is really terrifying. However, she didn't give in to fear. She was up for the fight, and she expected that the health system would have her back. She was referred to University Hospital Galway for chemotherapy and expected to commence her treatment with the urgency required. But as she waited, the days rolled into weeks. Christmas came and went, and still no appointment. The stress and the anxiety of having cancer, worrying about it growing and spreading, but not being treated, got worse for her day by day. Her husband says that they began, to use his words, begging for chemo. She even offered to travel to other hospitals, but her wait continued. And by the second week of January, this woman was still waiting for her chemotherapy appointment. And then she presented at the A&E in significant pain. She was left, by the way, to wait on a trolley. Only after being admitted to hospital did she begin her chemotherapy. And it is very shocking that it's only after she was admitted to hospital that she started treatment. Otherwise, she would have still been left waiting. Taoiseach, no cancer patient, no family should ever have to go through what this woman and her family went through. We all know that early treatment is vital when it comes to surviving cancer. The National Cancer Strategy states the treatment should start within 15 days of diagnosis, 15 days. But the reality is that patients are being left to wait way beyond that timeline. Last summer, the Irish Cancer Society rang the alarm bell loudly. They raised the major regional disparities that exist in accessing cancer treatments, with patients in the West often waiting 7 or even 8 weeks for their chemotherapy. That is terrifying. This isn't the first time, Taoiseach, that I've raised serious concerns around access to chemotherapy. You will recall the scandal of 800 children's chemotherapy appointments being cancelled in 2023. The National Cancer Strategy was designed to guarantee prompt diagnosis and treatment. But while Ireland has come a long way, experts like Professor Michael McCarthy have warned that it's getting tougher and tougher to deliver care on time. He says we're now behind the curve and we are slipping back. Advocates have repeatedly warned that we don't have enough staff, space or equipment to cope, and the human cost is being paid by patients and families. This has to change because lives are on the line. Ní cóir go bhógtar aon duine a feigean diagnose ail sé fannacht feadh seachtaí ribh chemotherapy a thusnú. Caithfí an rialtas cínse go bhfuil fáil ag othair an cóir leighis chun an maithe a hábháil gan bhfuil. Taoiseach, I want you to tell me how many other cancer patients are currently left waiting and waiting like this. And I want you to tell us what action you're going to take in this regard to guarantee that no patient, not one single patient, is left to wait weeks and weeks to start their life-saving chemotherapy.
Well, first of all, I thank the Deputy for raising this issue, which is an extremely important issue. Obviously, I'm not familiar with the background of this specific case that you've referenced here just now, and if you wish to send me the details of the case with the permission of the person concerned, I perhaps will be in a position to interrogate the issue more with the NCCP and indeed which is the National Cancer Control Programme, and indeed with the HSE and with the hospital, because we have invested very significantly in cancer care. Cancer is a very traumatic diagnosis for any individual or indeed for any family. And obviously, given the levels of investment in our services, we want the best possible outcomes. And thankfully, over the last number of decades, we have improved very significantly outcomes for cancer diagnosis, and particularly in terms of breast cancer. Breast cancer survivors are now the largest cancer survivor group in Ireland, making up 22% of all cancer survivors. Almost 50,000 women have had a breast cancer diagnosis. That doesn't mitigate or take from the trauma that the individual person that you referred to this morning has experienced. As you know, there have been a variety of new treatments, new drugs and so on for cancer. We've invested significantly in all of that. I think in the last 3 to 4 years, close to 650 million have been invested in new drug therapies for cancer alone. And the radiation oncology centres have been established and so forth. Now, on the waiting times, symptomatic breast disease clinics operate in about 9 hospitals around the country, the 8 cancer centres and a satellite clinic in Letterkenny. The HSE National Cancer Control Programme has set a target of 95% of urgent referrals being seen within 10 working days and 95% of non-urgent referrals to be seen within 12 weeks. And to date, 62% of urgent referrals have met the time frame of 10 working days. That needs to improve. Of that, there is no doubt. In October, 3 cancer centres, St James's Hospital, University Hospital Waterford and University Hospital Limerick, exceeded the 95% target for urgent referrals. An additional 3 centres, St Vincent's, Galway, University Hospital and the Mater, report that they expect to meet the target by the end of the year. So Galway, which I think is the hospital here that was involved in this case, are saying to the NCCP that they expect to meet the target by the end of 2025. So I think we need to, certainly if you can send me on the details of the case, I'll pursue that with the hospital and with the NCCP, because the NCCP is working with various hospitals in terms of restoring the service within the agreed timeframes. And when there's a particular performance issue, the HSE then works with the hospital in terms of site-specific measures. That could mean funding additional clinics or additional medical cover where necessary. And in terms of the variation across the country, the NCCP has introduced a range of guidelines aimed at ensuring standardised access to cancer services across the country, leading to more appropriate referrals within the cancer services. And it's examining the national symptomatic breast disease pathway, including triage and review of key performance metrics and updating the national clinical guidelines. And again, as I've said, we do need to work out the specific issue here, because the University Hospital Galway, I'm being informed, has indicated it will be on target or would be in target by the end of last December, following recruitment and the running of additional clinics.